Konstantin Sergeyevich, a retired widower, lived a life filled with the bittersweet memories of his late wife, Evdokia. When Evdokia passed away, the ground seemed to vanish from beneath Konstantin's feet, leaving him in a chasm of solitude. Their life together had been one of mutual enjoyment, free from the burdens of children and the responsibilities they bring. Evdokia, always averse to being tied down, had convinced Konstantin that their life of travel and leisure was enough. But hey, before we dive into the story, do yourself a favor and pause the video right now. Go hit that like button and let's see if we can make this video reach 1,000 likes. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to your favorite story channel. Also make sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest and weirdest stories. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming your way. Now sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed as we take you on an unforgettable ride. Don't forget to engage with us in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Without further ado, let's dive right in. "You know, Kostya," she would say, "is it so wrong to enjoy each other's company, to travel, to explore new places?" They embraced a nomadic lifestyle, renting flats in various cities and immersing themselves fully in local life. Whether it was a few months or half a year, they would settle in, live like locals, and then move on. They even stayed for 2 years in some places. Children would have made such a life impossible. Their need for stability, schooling, and friends would have tethered them to one place. Yet, as they approached their mid-30s, Konstantin began to yearn for a family. Reluctantly, Evdokia agreed to a medical checkup to address his concerns. When she emerged from the clinic, tears streaming down her face and a file clutched tightly in her trembling hands, Konstantin's heart sank. "Kostya," she sobbed, "you can be free. I can't give you a child." Konstantin, always the supportive husband, embraced her. "Let it go," he whispered, and they never revisited the subject. They continued to live a life of joy and exploration, putting the matter of children behind them. As they neared retirement, Evdokia began to cough persistently. Konstantin, ever vigilant about her health, attributed it to an allergy, perhaps a reaction to a pet in one of their rented flats. They were back in their hometown, far from any allergens. But the cough persisted, and Konstantin insisted on a hospital visit. The doctor's diagnosis was devastating: terminal sarcoma. It was too late for treatment. 2 weeks later, Evdokia was gone, leaving Konstantin in a void of despair. Retired and alone, he felt no purpose in life. The joy of travel meant nothing without her by his side. Days after the funeral, while sorting through papers, Konstantin stumbled upon the same yellow folder Evdokia had held that fateful day at the clinic. He had never looked inside it. Curiosity piqued, he opened it. What he found shocked him to his core. The test revealed that he, not Evdokia, was infertile. She had lied, sacrificing her chance at motherhood to spare his feelings. Initially, Konstantin felt a wave of anger and betrayal, but as the truth sank in, he realized the depth of Evdokia's love and the magnitude of her sacrifice. She had given up her dreams of motherhood to protect him. Over time, his anger turned to forgiveness. To cope with his grief, Konstantin began visiting Evdokia's grave daily. He tended to the flowers, cleaned the monument, and talked to her for hours. Gradually, he realized he was really talking to himself, finding solace in these one-sided conversations. Slowly, he came to terms with his new reality and found peace in his memories of their life together. One day, during his usual walk through the cemetery, Konstantin noticed a fresh grave with a single wilted tulip and a wooden cross bearing the name Klavdia Tarakanova. Intrigued, he greeted the grave as if meeting a new friend. As he stood there, a faint squeaking sound reached his ears. Looking around, he saw an abandoned shovel nearby. The sound seemed to come from the grave itself. Heart pounding, Konstantin grabbed the shovel and began digging. The squeaking grew louder, transforming into wailing. Digging frantically, he unearthed a coffin and threw back the lid. Inside was an elderly woman, likely Klavdia, and beside her were 2 newborn babies, a boy and a girl. The boy was barely breathing, but the girl was crying, her tiny fists flailing. Rushing to the authorities, Konstantin ensured the babies were taken to a shelter. The old woman, Klavdia Tarakanova, was known in the neighborhood. Her daughter had died in childbirth, leaving her to raise her granddaughter, Milana. Klavdia had struggled with alcoholism and poverty, but she had done her best for Milana, who unfortunately followed in her mother's footsteps, becoming pregnant and neglecting her responsibilities. Milana, desperate and unfit to care for the twins, had buried them alive with her grandmother. She had then fled to Moscow, leaving the babies to their fate. Constantine, horrified by the events, couldn't forget the twins. He visited them regularly at the orphanage, growing more attached with each visit. One day, a nurse suggested what had been on his mind for some time. "Why don't you take them?" After a thorough health check to ensure he was capable of raising the children, Constantine adopted them. The irony was not lost on him. His infertility had been a mistake, perhaps a mix-up or a deceitful act by Evdokia. Regardless, Constantine embraced his new role as a father. Milana never resurfaced, and Kostya's visits to the cemetery ceased. Instead, he spent his days at the playground watching over his children. He found a new purpose in life, a second chance at happiness. Years later, Constantine often reflected on the twists and turns his life had taken. From the joy of his marriage to the pain of loss and the unexpected gift of fatherhood, he had experienced the full spectrum of human emotion. His journey had taught him that life is unpredictable, and sometimes the most extraordinary experiences come from the most unexpected places. Constantine's story became a testament to resilience and the power of love. It reminded everyone that even in the darkest times, there is hope and the possibility of a new beginning. And so Constantine Sergeyevich, once a lonely widower, found redemption and joy in the laughter and love of his adopted children, forever grateful for the strange and miraculous path that had led him to them.